Good evening, merry drinkers. Welcome back. Travelling to Belgium today, well, I mean, just Belgium, and to Chimay. This is their triple or Blanche at, how strong exactly is it? 9%? 8%. It's part of 300 beers to try before you die. Slowly working my way through. There's quite a lot of history about Chimay in here. The abbey there has been going since 1850, but the original beer was the red or the rouge, so that is also in here, and I'll save the history for that beer, which is still down chilling in the fridge. This Blanche, or the white, is actually the youngest of all the beers that they have, and was created in 1966, so even though it's new, it's not that new. They're originally a vice, so the monks were from West Berlin, and got invited across to the Abbey of Scourmont to establish a brewery, and it's right on the border between Belgium and France. Might have been different back in the day, but that's where it sits at the minute. And this is their take on a Belgian triple. Quick butchers on the back here. It's a strong blonde ale with a fruity and spicy taste, balanced by bitterness and aroma of the hop, singular, not plural. The Trappist logo certifies that this ale is brewed by Trappist Abbey, and the majority of sales income is intended for social age. The beer is fermented in the bottle. Ingredients are water, barley malt, sugar, wheat starch, hop, singular again, spices, and yeast. And even though it's white on gold, I believe this is best before March 2027. It's 8% in a 330ml bottle. I picked this up from House of Trembling Madness. I got it in a little pack to include my Chimay goblet. So I've got the blue and I've got the rouge also down in the fridge. I just fancied starting with the strongest one because I think it's my least favourite. As triples in general, I find a bit overcomplicated and serious sipper beers, and this is, if I remember correctly, is right along those lines. I think the pack itself was about £16, so £4 for each of the beers and £4 for the glass. Not too bad. Let's get out the bottle and see what it looks like in the glass. There's a nice bit of fizz to that on opening. It's a 330ml glass, so with plenty of room for a head, so hopefully it will pour perfectly. Go. There's a lot of yeast that went in there at the minute. Probably why it tells you to store it stood up. I don't know if that's going to come across particularly on camera, but it's a lovely yellowy golden colour. 2 inches thick worth of head. There's a little bit of carbonation sticking to the glass, and yeah, nice bit of sediment that's gone down to the bottom. It's got very florally, slight honeyed fruit smell off the top. Not loads though. Very, very gentle, and it's got that slight Belgian-y, raisiny type of nose to it, which I think they get off all their yeast because of the Easters. Not too much else. I'd imagine the hop that's gone in here is just a classic bittering hop. There's not going to be anything in there that's going to add in punch loads of flavour, but Let's find out and give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, it's a very complicated beer. For 8%, you're miles away from your strong Euro lagers, where there's quite a sharpness to it. There's a nice, rich to medium body in the mouth. Very smooth. I can see a bit of carbonation in the glass, but you don't really feel that in your mouth. But if you do hold it in on your tongue, it will fizz away. Flavour wise, there's definite clove. For an 8% beer, that flavour is actually a bit dialed down. It's a bit more of like a luxurious drinking experience. Very floral. The malt in there, I'd imagine, is excellent. I'll see if it indicates in the book at the minute. I don't think there's nothing on the glass to indicate what I've actually got in there. Just barley malt. But the hop is a real bitter floralness on the back, which I'm not huge on. It's definitely a sipper of a beer, but it's not drawing me back in. I've got that floral bitterness is sticking at the back of my tongue, and I can't say I'm massively enjoying it. Let's see what Mr. Potts has got to say. So in terms of the white or Cinq Cents, which I think it was released to celebrate 500 years of the Abbey. They use weird numbering systems out on the continent, so 500 Cinq Cents. It says it's brewed with pale Pilsner malt, Cara malt. So Pilsner malt I can see because there's a pepperiness and a bite to the back of that, but also a really nice mouthfeel to it. Cara malt must be giving it that quite nice caramel orange colour. Then there's also Hallertauer and Galena hops. Colour is orange and peach, with a big citrus fruit aroma and palate, a hint of spice in the mouth, and a big dry finish between tart fruit and bitter hops. I'll have a look in the hops in a minute, but that's lacking in fruit for me. I don't really feel that, as you really have to go searching for it. There's a lot of floral bitterness, and there's a definite bite, which for an 8% beer, not really for me. You don't get that fruit and bitterness balance like you would with a West Coast IPA. But there's loads of depth to it, and it does feel really nice. There's clove, there's honey. That is all swishing around, but the lasting finish, I'm not great on. I'll see. So, Book of Hops. Hallertau is a great ancient German, which should give a bit of a distinctive white grape character. Not particularly to get anything like that. Unmistakable lemongrass and lime character. Makes this one of the most interesting options available to brewers looking to push their hopping boundaries. May also get gooseberry, grapefruit, passion fruit, pineapple, and elderflower notes. There's two types of Hallertau. That's Hallertau Blanc. Hallertau Taurus doesn't sort of go in between the two. Is a high alpha bittering steamroller. Has an earthy floral aroma with hints of chocolate and banana. But tends to be focused on German ales, lagers, Oktoberfest and Schwarz beers. As for Galena, that is a New World American type hop. Seems unlikely to be in a Chimay beer from the 60s. But it is again a bittery hop. Clean and well balanced and crisp. Grapefruit citrus, green pepper spices. Well, not entirely too sure that added anything. It's interesting it's got sugar in there on the bottle. With that fair bit of yeast in there, I wonder if that's how the 8% is got to. It's there to like really heave up the actual alcohol content of the beer. I know they use candied sugar in a lot of Belgian beers that way, and they're not averse to adding in additional ingredients to get the flavour just right. They work on it like a wine. Please tell from my face, I'm not massively on board on that. I know Belgians have like very specialist brewing history. I'm definitely more on the UK end of high quality quantity rather than something like this, which is really quite challenging. Chimay themselves make loads of cheese, so imagine this would pair quite well. This like being quite floral and quite bitter. If you had a nice rich cheese, that would work. But I might call it quits there and go and sip it downstairs. Scores wise, see if I can flick it up on the screen now. Now we're up to about 4. I'd say this is the lowest of the 4 so far. I'll probably give it about a 3 out of 5. Got to give it credit for the complexity, the amount of time and work that's gone in there. There's some really deep, rich flavours, and the mouthfeel is quite nice. And for an 8% beer, none too shabby. Just not really enjoying it as an experience. Might drink it again one more day. That's my rough rule of thumb. Is a score under 2.5 is I'm just not even gonna have it again. But add it a couple of times, and we'll give it another try again in the future. But until the next time, Chimay Blanche, little bit of a miss. Cheers.